Welcome to Game Mess Mornings with me, Jeff Grubb, your host from GiantBomb.com. Thank you for tuning in. In this episode, we're going to be talking about everything that happened at that Nintendo Direct. It's going to be a good one because we have Jon Martin on the show to talk about it. Jon, how are you doing?
I'm doing so well, Jeff. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
It's a good time to talk about video games
it
and
is.
only video
Yeah.
games.
They gave us a lot to talk about, and like most
Yeah,
of the news today is just going to be all from that Direct. We'll go over it. We'll take our time on it. It'll be a good time. But you got up to watching everything. What'd you think overall?
I thought it was pretty good. I felt like it had a pretty decent pacing. I was actually streaming it earlier, so I had some audio issues near the beginning of I think the Switch only section. So I missed a couple of games, but I thought it was pretty good. A lot of good stuff announced.
Yeah, I think they did a good job of like mixing in like the stuff like the DLC that might have been a little bit less
Right.
exciting in the middle of all these other things that were really great to see or very surprising. But yeah, it was a good presentation. A lot of games that I am interested in at the very least. But boy, definitely noticing a lot of high prices from Nintendo. We'll talk about that for sure. But yeah, it also seems like everyone else did get out of the way of this direct. Not a lot of other news happening for sure. Do you think now that this has happened, we'll start hearing about like what Sony's got planned for the holiday? Like they're gonna probably still have a state of play before the end of this month, stuff like that. Do you expect to hear about something like that soon?
I believe so. We're getting pretty close to the Ghost of Yotei. The hype cycle, I saw they have like some Sapporo, like
Yeah,
kind of partnership or whatever.
that's out the very
So
end
I,
of the month, right? That's like the last week of the month. That game.
I think so, yeah. So definitely like the double check on that, checking on Wolverine, like all these third party games. I would not be shocked if Sony has something, yeah, like as you said, like this month, early October.
Yep. Yeah. And so start getting news from that. I'm sure Microsoft will have something to talk about it again as well soon. But yeah, I think that everyone kind of always waits for this direct to happen. They know it's going to take place around this time, and now we're here, and it did feel like a big deal. And it probably sets Nintendo up for a pretty good holiday. But we'll talk about all the reasons why that's the case here in a little bit. Before we do that, we should explain ourselves. We're Giant Bomb. We make cool stuff about video games, and we could do that because of your support. If you want to see us do more stuff, you go to giantbomb.com/join, become a premium member. That support has meant the world to us. We've seen a lot of it come in, and it's going a long way towards ensuring that we can still be Giant Bomb. As far as this show goes, most weekdays, Jeff Grubb, will help piece your gaming life back together. That includes breaking news and maybe even some of our own original reporting. For all these topics, I'll get the input of a bona fide expert who will make me look smart. If you were watching live on Twitch, welcome. You can always listen to the show later on podcast feeds by searching for Game Mess Mornings or find the RSS feed on giantbomb.com. You can also catch the show later with chapters and timestamps on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. All right, we have a lot to get into, so let's start the morning mess with a Nintendo Direct roundup for the 12th of September. Yep, a Friday Direct, more than 60 minutes, and it was pretty jam-packed with stuff. They did start it with a Mario Brothers 40th anniversary sort of block with a bunch of little announcements in there. This story is a roundup. I think it's from Nintendo Everything or My Nintendo News, something like that. Sorry about that. But for the Mario 40th anniversary stuff, they wrote a range of titles for Nintendo Switch 2 and Nintendo Switch, as well as a new animated movie and other activities will commemorate 40 years since the original Super Mario Brothers release in Japan. Visitors to the Nintendo Museum in Kyoto, Japan will also have access to a 40th anniversary light display, a new ticket design for a limited time, and to be able to see a range of Super Mario illustrations in pixel art. And then as far as the games go, they announced, the first Super Mario Galaxy movie. They had a teaser for that, and they told us the name. That's still coming April 3rd of next year. That looked pretty good, but that led right into them announcing enhanced ports, I think is the best way of putting it, for Galaxy 1 and 2 coming to Switch and Switch 2. $40 each, or you can get it in a bundle together for $70. So if you already bought Galaxy 1 in the 3D Mario All-Stars and you don't want to buy it again, you're going to spend $40. Now, apparently this version is more enhanced, I guess, so there's something to that. But what did you think about this announcement?
Yeah, I mean, like, I think a lot of people, myself and a lot of people, were waiting for Galaxy 2 to kind of be released out of prison, or Nintendo jail, I should say. It's a double-edged sword because I mean, yeah, like I could not tell the difference between the 3D All Stars version of Galaxy and this version of Galaxy. Minus, I think they added some uh, picture book sequences to the story, the Rosalina story sequence in the
Yes.
library. But yeah, I mean, on the whole, it is exciting that people are able to play these great games for the first time. The presentation on how this achievement happened at $70 is kind of rough. $40 each, especially when it is that thing of like, well, for $20 more a couple of years ago, we got Mario 64 Sunshine and Galaxy. Now we're getting just Galaxy 2, which a great game in its own right, but it's like we have three of the greatest games of all time, and then there is no Nintendo Switch 2 or whatever expansion to it. It is kind of just a raw deal right now, it feels like.
Yeah, it's definitely like I that $40 price tag for each of them really was just startling. I'm like, what? That's kind of a lot. I mean, here's how they're trying to sell it. So both titles feature improved UI, the option to play with button and stick or motion controls, an in-game music player, new storybook content as you alluded to, and enhanced resolutions. Plus, there will be a free update for the Nintendo Switch 2 edition that adds 4K resolution support for each. So a resolution bump.
Yeah.
They are making some enhancements here. It does not feel like they are like this is in any way a remake. They're not redoing the assets. I think this is probably enhancements they have built into their emulator tools so that they can use different control styles. That's something a lot of emulators support. So it's like, yeah, we can build that right into this as well. And yeah, I think they look pretty good. And beggars can't be choosers too much with Galaxy 2. That's one I was like, they must have a reason for not putting it on there. They can't figure out the controls. Well, apparently they did. Here it is. And it's hard now to shake the feeling that they were making me like anxious for this game to the point where they dropped it. They could charge me $40 for it. It's a big price. It's a startling price. Like I said, you think people are going to go for it?
Yeah, it's Mario.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that they know they can get away with it, but yeah, $40. I think for a lot of people, especially people who picked up 3D All Stars, will probably justify it with having been so far removed from now, wanting to wait for Galaxy 2 for all this time. Yeah, it's interesting. I didn't know about the button and stick gameplay method. I don't know how Yoshi's even gonna control because I always assumed that was the big thing keeping them from bringing it forward. But yeah, I don't know. That's for me personally. I think that's going to be a wait and see. As someone who loves those games, but those games have been $20 in the past, similar to like how Tropical Freeze is just kind of crazy after being $20 for so long on Wii U. But yeah, I mean, it's good to see them kind of out of the vault. Yeah.
Let's see here. Other Mario stuff before we move on. Two Amiibo figures for Super Mario Galaxy and Galaxy 2. See, Mario and Luma can be scanned in either game, so you can get some bonuses there. Those will also be available on April 2nd. You can also bring Rosalina's storybook home with an illustrated hardcover edition featuring the original art and story from the Super Mario Galaxy games. That'll be available in the My Nintendo store.
Yeah, that is pretty neat. That is probably something I'll pick up.
I like that as well. Okay, so how are you feeling about the Mario 40th anniversary stuff overall? Like this feels like not necessarily stuff they slapped together, but definitely feels like this is what we could pull off for this anniversary while we're in between core 3D Mario games and all this other stuff. And we're not going to do Super Mario 35 again. But you haven't done anything with Galaxy 2, so we'll go with that. Do you think they're kind of hitting it with this or what?
I definitely think they like bunted it a little bit. Like I definitely think like it was a good attempt on the whole, with the Wonder stuff, Mario Tennis Fever, some other stuff. Yeah, it's hard to know. I feel like that movie is gonna do a lot for both pushing those games, but also get people in the mood to like really be all about Mario for another year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty good attempt on the whole when you consider like all the multimedia stuff. But in terms of games, I personally would like a little bit more. But yeah, we just had Bonanza, so it's like really hard to want that new 3D Mario, and Wonder is still so fresh. So them just adding more levels to that. I was kind of scared for a lot of that demonstration that it was just going to be like a mini game collection, but yeah, sorry, we're jumping all over the place, but
No, yeah,
yeah, that Wonder stuff
no.
was pretty exciting.
Yeah, no, let's keep doing that because I want to wrap up all this Mario stuff into one. So Super Mario Brothers Wonder
Gotcha.
Nintendo Switch 2 edition plus Meetup in Bella Bell Park. More experiences are coming to the Flower Kingdom. Enjoy a variety of attractions in the Bella Bella Park Plaza that lets you team up with or work against friends and family. Collect the most coins, run and hide in Fanto Tag, work together to pass a Bob-omb to the goal, and more. This Nintendo Switch 2 edition adds even more content and enhancements as well. Stay tuned for additional info in the future. Blah, blah, blah. That's coming in spring 2026. So it will add Switch 2 enhancements, and then it will have this content that is primarily multiplayer focused. It is a variety of multiplayer modes, including once a party mode, where you're kind of like doing a bunch of, not necessarily Mario Party style mini games, but something pretty close to that in a Mario
It feels like
platformer.
that, yeah.
Yeah, it feels close enough. I thought this was pretty. I was happy to see this. I like Wonder a lot. I also like the multiplayer in Wonder a lot. So this is cool. I don't know if this is the kind of DLC I get too excited to spend money on, though. I kind of wish they would have included some challenge levels, some harder levels, or just at least a new
Yeah.
set of stages, at the very least, for the single player mode. Doesn't seem like that's what they're doing here.
Oh, I thought they were hinting at that with like the Koopalings at the end. Like there are going to be new levels and like I mean bosses were never Wonder's strong suit, but
No,
I don't know,
true.
maybe I misinterpreted
I mean, no,
that.
maybe you're right. I'm just trying not to get my hopes up because just like what they showed here was multiplayer focused, and I'm like, maybe that's all there is to it. They do say more
Yeah.
info's coming, so and it's not out till next year. So maybe the next time we see it, you're right. They show even more. It's just like when you're talking something up and you're trying to sell it initially, you feel like they would lead with all of the big components of it, but maybe not.
Yeah,
Uh,
it is just those like mini games, then yeah, that is a bit over underwhelming. It does feel like kind of just like stuff they couldn't really do in a Mario Party game, which is weird because they just did that.
okay,
But I
they
mean,
showed them on the map.
Wonders.
Okay,
Okay. So are there
so
new
people are saying
levels?
that they
Yeah,
they teased it there at the end. Yeah, it's just something I missed.
cool.
Yeah. So okay, cool. So they're teasing new levels. If that's the case, then this is a DLC that is for me. Then because that's if they've got that and the multiplayer stuff, I'll show up for that. And the multiplayer stuff, like I said, I thought that looked good. I don't expect that to be too many people's bag, but it's certainly mine.
Yeah.
All right. That's not all. Soon you'll be able to have your own talking flower from Super Mario Brothers Wonder.
Hell yeah.
You these are, it looks like just a little toy that you press a button and it says some pre-recorded lines. They made clear it's not interactive. It's not a Furby. It's not Teddy Ruxpin. I guess that wasn't interactive either. This is just gonna like say its lines, but it was cute, and I like that flower guy a lot. If Jon Martin, are you on the side of the flower guy from Wonder, or are you against him? I saw some hate for him this morning, and it upset me.
I don't understand the hate, man. He's just so
Yeah,
wholesome, so silly. Um, yeah, I mean, this is the kind of thing, and I think they said it like talk. You don't need to hit the button; it will just randomly talk. This is the kind of thing I would love to prank people with, and just like put those flowers all around people's places.
yeah,
I don't know.
I love
I
that.
like the flower. Yeah, I know a lot of people did turn that off, and I like that that feature is there. And obviously, this product is not for them then,
Yeah,
but
instead of turning it off, what you do is you just switch the language. So now it's yelling at you in Italian or whatever, and that's really fun. That's a good time.
and that's helpful. Then you're learning Italian. You're learning another
Exactly. Yes,
language.
it's immersive language therapy. Exactly. Let's see here. Yeah. Okay. So that flower, I hope we can hack it because I want to be able to like take a little SD card and put Dan's voice in there and yell, I'm gonna poop," or whatever he says. Uh, get that in there. Okay. So let's scroll back up and kind of try to do this in order again, of at least how it's written here. Okay. So in addition to the Mario Galaxy games and the Mario DLC for Wonder, they also talked about their big new, like, one last thing for the show, Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave. This is coming to Nintendo Switch 2 in 2026. It has a Roman games theme sort of to it, where it's
Yeah,
like, yeah, there's an emperor and saying the games have begun, and there's a big coliseum and all this stuff. And then they also seem to tease that the Empress or whatever from Fire Emblem Three Houses, I can't remember exactly who that character was. I don't know how much I interacted with her, but she's back in this one, suggesting this is a direct follow-up to Fire Emblem Three Houses, which was very popular. I guess I'm not surprised to hear that, although it's kind of surprising that they're doing a sequel Fire Emblem game so many years later. After they did another one, because there was one in between these two. What'd you make of this game?
I thought it was pretty interesting. I do like Fire Emblem. There are times where I just like get completely burnt out because some of those games have a little bit too much content, too many paths, and it's like kind of tempting to go through them. But I think I am ready for a new one. I kind of skipped Engage because it seemed like the conversation wasn't super high on the story, and
Yes, it was the story and the gameplay was immaculate. That's the best Fire Emblem's ever
yeah,
played. Everything else was pretty rough.
yeah, even then, I feel like it's definitely something to work on. Like, I think that was a big criticism with Three Houses is that like the gameplay was kind of like samey. Like it was kind of just like elevation was really the only change to it, as opposed to like holding bases or whatever. This seems pretty interesting. There's definitely feels like it is Koei Tecmo. I don't know if they confirmed that they are working on that like Three Houses was, but
They won't confirm that right
yeah.
until much later. Well, I guess with Koei Tecmo,
Oh,
maybe they've done that a couple times. Yeah, they confirmed that like Koei Tecmo's working on one of those games
yeah.
during the showcase. So yeah, maybe they would say that, and they haven't for this one. So I don't know. Intelligent Systems did the last one, right? Engage.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think they work for Three Houses. I know they worked like in tandem with Koei
Yes.
Tecmo. So it'd be cool if they did that again. It is interesting that it is connected, but it feels very distinct. Like it's not like the Ike games, like they had two, and like the Marth games, they had two of them. But I think this is pretty interesting. Setting it in like kind of like a tournament arc, I feel like does get me
Yeah.
kind of excited just to see like
I
what
agree.
crazy characters are like gonna be there. I kind of dig the gladiatorial feel. Like people could die. There's no need for like a time skip to like do anything too crazy. Um, yeah, I know a lot of people are happy with this, and I think it is around time for a new Fire Emblem. Just kind of weird. It hasn't been like any of the things that have been rumored before, which kind of surprised
Right.
me in a pretty
Same.
positive light.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it's like I wonder like that. That rumor for a long time going around that there's a Fire Emblem finished, a Fire Emblem remake, and it's just sitting there. I mean, Nintendo's weird about that stuff. Maybe it's just going to continue to sit there, or maybe they'll release it at some point after this game, because now it just feels like, what are they going to do with that? Maybe nothing. Um, yeah, okay. So apparently the Empress in this video, she's the girl that was in your head, and I'm like, now I recognize the voice. I'm like, oh yeah, that was that character who kind of told you about your powers in Fire Emblem Three Houses. So yeah,
yeah,
I
she was.
that if she's like magical, like this could be a direct sequel. This could be some sort of thing where like she exists in a whole other timeline now. They could do
Like
anything with that kind of
she's
character.
like the new narrator or whatever. They've had
Yeah.
like there's like another character called Anna who's like kind of similar, but yeah, it would be cool if like Sothis was
So
just
this,
this
yeah.
guide in like a new story or whatever. It's going to be interesting to like see what Fire Emblem sickos like find in like new trailers and like,
Yeah.
oh, there's this piece of lore that hints at this.
Right.
I think it looks pretty rad.
Yeah, and she like straight up turned into a dragon, right? Yeah, like so she could be 1,000 years old. Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll see. I love Fire Emblem. I'm seeing this. It's like, oh, I'm more ready for a new Fire Emblem than I even thought I was, because I fell off of
same.
Engage after a little bit. Really enjoyed what I played of it in terms of the gameplay. So if they could just take that, mash it up with some really good storytelling and characters and character systems, I'll be there for it. Okay, let's see here. So we hit Fire Emblem, we hit these Mario games. Next one on this list here is Metroid Prime 4
Oh
Beyond.
baby.
After an unexpected accident, Samus finds herself transported to the mysterious planet, of Vuros. Scan your surroundings for clues, make the most of your equipment and weapons, and use Samus's newfound psychic abilities and her technologically advanced bike, the Viola, to traverse and explore the environment. You'll need every tool at your disposal to survive and escape Vuros. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond Nintendo Switch 2 Edition launches on Nintendo Switch 2 December 4th, with the Nintendo Switch version also launching the same day. December 4th, we have a release date. That's definitely the big
Finally.
news here. That's exactly finally and fantastic. And we could talk about like Nintendo's schedule for the rest of the year here in a second. But they also showed off Viola, Metroid,
Yeah.
the Metroid bike for Samus. And the segments upon which you ride that bike, where they looked more open. I guess I want
Mhm.
you to read first. When you saw those segments, what did you think initially, and how does this fit into Metroid Prime 4?
Yeah, it's crazy because it feels like we kind of just understand the structure of the world a bit more, why it did take so long from them rebooting it and like starting it fresh. Maybe the scope was even too crazy for Ben and Namco, but yeah, it really does feel like we found out how we are going to be traversing through this big world. We all we've really seen are like kind of the lush wastes and uh, like the greenery, the underground. But yeah, I don't know. It's pretty crazy. I think that bike looks incredible. That amiibo figure that they announced too is also just something I kind of want to have. But um, yeah, it's pretty crazy. It looks like there was even combat, vehicular combat, which is really cool. It seems like this is going to be a game where even once it's released, there are going to be a lot of things that we're just going to be totally surprised by. On top of the psychic stuff, is just like that montage at the end, like kind of just fried my brain. There was almost too much going on there.
Yeah, I'm like actually looking at the bike segment real quick just to like figure it out. To me, I get the sense that this is a not like it's an open zone, maybe. But I don't get like I don't think you're going to be doing a ton of exploration out in an open world. I don't think
Okay.
that's. I think it'll be like there will be segments that connect at different places, and you use the bike to like go to those places, and maybe you could do a little bit of going off the beaten path. But I don't. I just doesn't. When I'm looking at it, at least it looks so barren. I guess maybe that's part of it. Is
Yeah.
like how much they really expecting you to spend time out there? And then when they introduce the bike, Samus does this like sort of like cute little 180 to like spin her tires in place and then take off. And then when she does, there's suddenly like sort of a coastline to the left of her that's kind of guiding her straight, making it feel like it's maybe even a
Oh.
little bit more confined than it looks initially. But I don't know.
Yeah.
That definitely is more evocative of different ideas than I was expecting. And you're right. It's like if this is more open, you do begin to understand what is possible. And I think an openness to a Metroid can work as long as it also still has all of the confined corridors and atmospheric spaces that Metroid Prime has been known for. I think
Yeah.
both can work as long as like they give you something to do, like give you a really strong sort of gravitational pull in an open world, so you kind of always have an idea of the general direction you're supposed to be heading. But yeah, other than that, the game looked fantastic. I think it looks really, really good. And now that bike thing adds a different flavor, a different element, so people can go, oh, there's something new here that
Yeah.
will be different, that can kind of justify getting excited for a 4 if I'm one of these people that was like, this just looks like more Metroid Prime.
Yeah, it definitely like freshens it a bit. Like it made it seem even more distinct from the other three combined. And now that we're talking about the bike in particular, it's like what if we're probably going to be able to upgrade it, find power ups for it.
Yeah, maybe.
What do you think would like excite you the most? And using that bike, like flight. What are we going to be able to free roam? I don't know. It's like I don't know how they're going to incorporate that. That seems like just a
I
crazy
want
thing to
I want wall
mix into
riding.
this.
Just give me wall riding. Let
Yeah,
me like
that's pretty
find a
sweet.
a big chasm, and I can. And I expect that to be kind of how it works a little bit, like small little segments that still have that Metroid flair of you've unlocked something new for the bike. Now that means you can go to this place you saw in the open zone, and now you can ride on the walls to get to this new biome over here. We'll see how it actually ends up functioning, though.
Yeah.
December 4th, though, like I said, the release schedule is definitely sort of been sussed out a little bit here. They have a bunch of games coming out for spring 2026. There's a handful of games for February, but Pokemon Legends is out October 16th. We
Yeah.
got Age of Imprisonment. That got a release date. We'll talk about that here in a second. That's November 6th. This game's December 4th. How are you feeling about the Switch 2's release schedule? Or I guess Switch and Switch 2 for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I mean, it feels pretty stacked now. Definitely, like Age of Imprisonment, just having the winter 2025 release date, or maybe it was even just like winter, like later this winter or something vague like that. But yeah, it does flesh out the rest of this year. Like we have that as a November game now. We have like the big holiday December game now. It is starting to flesh out a bit more. Whether it is like big megaton games, like I feel like we kind of did have in the Switch One launch here. That's to be discussed. It's definitely certainly like a lot of different flavors here, but yeah, I mean, I am feeling a bit better about that. A lot of third-party games are going to flesh that out a bit more, but um, yeah, on the whole, I'm looking forward to a good amount of Nintendo games.
There were Metroid Prime 4 Beyond Amiibo figures. They're on their way. It's Samus and the Viola, the motorcycle, that will be released on November 6th. And an enigmatic bounty hunter, Silex, who has been in a bunch of Metroid Prime games. They will
Yeah.
also get released, it sounds here, like as the same day as the game on December 4th, sold separately from the game. And then there's the visual retrospective for Metroid Prime 1 through 3, a book. I bought that forever ago, and they keep delaying it. That's out October 28th now, so we'll finally
They didn't
ship
show
around then.
Prime 2 or 3. I just
Yes.
realized that.
Exactly, yes. So I'm like, again, like, oh, I'm turning the hope notch down from like, hey, that could easily be like that game comes out in December, you release 2 and 3 nowish, and great, you got yourself a holiday lineup for Metroid games. They could still do a Metroid Prime 4 direct, like a bespoke one just for that game, and 2 and 3 could pop up there, or they could release it, just as a YouTube video and say, hey, these are out soon. But like I said, I've turned the notches down on the hope meter to being like, that's probably not going to happen now.
That is a bummer because like
Yep.
you said like earlier, like the main baddie is like someone who has been in a couple different games, and
Yep.
I don't know if we're gonna just like feel the same way we did with like Ravenbeak or just like some new villain. Maybe there's some twist there, but yeah, that is a bummer because I had been waiting to play those with the twin sticks. But
Yep. And that's the
yes,
shame. It's like, because I think Metroid Prime 2 could still come to NSO, but it won't have the dual analog
True.
controls. So it'd be like,
Yeah.
you've done all that work. You could just, you don't have to do the full like remake work that you did for Metroid Prime 1, but just add those controls and some widescreen or some better widescreen, and that'd be great.
Yeah.
Oh well. All right, let's move on here to Pokemon Pokopia. I'm probably saying that wrong. Where it's okay. Pokemon Pokopia, play as a Ditto who has transformed to look like a human,
so bad.
to shape an empty land into a beautiful space for a variety of Pokemon. Learn new moves from Pokemon you meet to expand and create a paradise. Collect berries, rocks, and wood. Build furniture. Grow vegetables in fields you've tilled. Create homes for Pokemon you meet, and more. Pokemon Pokopia takes shape on Nintendo Switch 2 in 2026. Pre-orders for the digital version will be available beginning November 12th. Not what I was expecting from a Pokemon spinoff. So actually right away, that makes me slightly more interested, because it's like, if it was another Mystery Dungeon or one of these other ones, I probably would just ignore it. A farming / life sim where you play as a weird Ditto that's pretending to be a human, I'll check into that at the very least. It looked cute.
Yeah, it kind of gives off like the Thing kind of vibes, like the weird body horror of this little freak just like using like size as hands, like spitting up water. It was a weird, surreal trailer. And yeah, like it definitely feels like it is trying to fill that void of like kind of like a Minecraft, but also kind of like an Animal Crossing. The perspective at the end, like the kind of time lapse thing, definitely painted that picture with building like a base and pathways. But yeah, no, like this is never in my bingo card of like kind of game that Pokemon would ever approach. But yeah, no, I appreciate how whack it is and how unsettling it kind of feels at the core.
Yep, exactly. And it's hard to describe for audio listeners, but just kind of imagine if your friends suddenly their eyes were replaced by Ditto eyes, and then you got an idea of like how weird that was to look at this character. All right, Donkey Kong Bonanza, DK Island, and Emerald Rush. Some DLC, paid DLC, already getting announced for Donkey Kong Bonanza that you'll barrel through with Donkey Kong and Pauline on DK Island, the home of some familiar faces. Once you finish the main game story, Void Kong will offer you a position in Void Company, collecting as much emerald ore as you can in Emerald Rush, both on DK Island and in the layers from the main game. In each run of this new mode, you'll collect fossils to gain helpful perks for different effects, and smash Banandium gems to power up DK with different skills. Play this mode to unlock new fashions, collectible statues that can be displayed on DK Island, and more. The Donkey Kong Bonanza DK Island and Emerald Rush DLC launches on the Nintendo Switch 2 system today. The free demo of the main game will also be available So yeah, let's just hit that. In each run of this new mode, you will collect
Yeah.
perks. It is a roguelike. It is indeed a roguelike.
Yeah.
I love this. I think a roguelike mode as a bonus mode works in so many games, especially when we get, like, you gave us a great single player adventure game. Fantastic. Now, what if I really like these mechanics? I want to keep spending more time with them. Well, I could do that on my own terms, or you can offer a roguelike mode and just enable the players to mess around with these mechanics and let them have a ton of fun with it to the point where they have an overpowered DK. That
Yeah.
sounds like a very good time to me. So I love this. Not sure how I feel about it being paid DLC, because I think we've seen
Right.
this kind of thing just get included in some other games, but it's Nintendo, so not surprised. Did this do anything for you?
It definitely does do a lot for me. DK Bonanza, and it's been hard with like Silk Song and Shinobi. I feel like there's so many games out right now that it is easy to forget how high of a high Donkey Kong Bonanza was for me. I still am playing through that game, slowly going 100%, but yeah, adding a roguelike mode is incredible. I agree, it probably should have been a free update, like
Right.
the God of War Ragnarok roguelike mode, especially. It kind of screams to me like, how do we take the best part of this game, like the combat, and kind of flip it on its head, give you something to turn it into like a forever game? Yeah, I wish it were free. I do think it is a good use of Donkey Kong Bonanza's structure, being able to go through those other levels as well. Like it's not just DK Island, which is super exciting to just go to DK Island. I screamed when I heard that, and I heard the remix of the opening of DK64. But yeah, like this mode does a lot for me. I'm very excited to play it, either starting today, I guess. But yeah. What? I mean, obviously, I feel like it should have been free. What price does $20 make
Yeah.
an easy purchase for you? I don't know.
So I was just double checking that because the game was $70. So this would be
Yeah,
the first time, right, that Nintendo's had a $70 game that had the $20 DLC. They've done the $60 game and $20 DLC to get to the $80 game, and that's a lot of the Nintendo Switch 2 editions. It includes the DLC, and it's $60 plus 80 or plus 20 to get to 80. So this game is now $90 with the
yeah,
DLC. No, that's rough. I think this is a bad price for this. If it had been $70, then $10 for this DLC to get to 80, I don't think I would
yeah,
have batted too much of an eye. I've been like, all right, that's just Nintendo doing what Nintendo's been doing. I'm already used to it. I'm already a sucker. You got me to purchase all the DLC so far. And so I see this and like, this is one's a little bit rougher. And yet, I just bought it. I just bought it, John. Just this second, I just bought it while we were talking, because I was checking the price and I'm right here. I'm
Yeah,
like, all right, well, I'll download that and have that ready to go tonight. Yeah, that's I don't think this is like a fair price. I guess we'll see like what's in there. But these roguelike modes are like a good way to like get people to keep the game and feel like they got more value out of it. I think it should be free. And it's a real
yeah.
shame that Nintendo is just always going to default to this $20 for their DLC now. Feels bad, especially for a game that just came out, and we know that this stuff was almost certainly ready to go. You know, not to go back to that old argument of, oh, it's already on the disc. It should just be, they should include it with the price that I'm paying for it. But yeah, maybe they should. This, I don't know. This
Yeah.
stinks, this price for this DLC.
One thing I just remembered was like I liked the post game up to a point. It did kind of feel a little unfinished at the very end. Like I feel like it was building to something, and there wasn't a huge payoff in that regard. Like it's still early. The
Right.
game's people are
And
still
it's,
playing it, but
I mean, I think
yeah,
you're probably right, because in Super Mario, and the what was the hack game? Now I'm
Odyssey.
yes, Odyssey Galaxy just would not get out of my head. In Super Mario Odyssey, you finish that game and you actually go to Peach's castle, and it's kind of like this last level that you get to experience at the end. It feels like the culmination and like bringing you back to Mario stuff, and that's
Yeah,
clearly what this DK Island is supposed to be for this game. But now you have to pay for it, and that's
yeah.
that. There's a direct comparison there. You got that kind of the equivalent content for free in Odyssey. Here you have to pay $20 whole dollars. That's as much as a whole Silk Song. It feels bad.
It's it's also bad because I just remembered that Odyssey also got that Luigi balloon mode where you would like hide
Yeah,
balloons and like compete for time getting coins, and that was a free update,
yeah.
which is kind of bad when you're comparing these two, and they are so comparable. People are talking about this is the sequel to Odyssey, so it's kind of hard not to draw ire when you're making that direct comparison
For
yourself.
real. Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. Okay, let's keep going here. Pokemon Legends Z-A and Pokemon Legends Z-A Mega Dimension, new Mega Evolutions, and for Chestnut, Delphox, and Green Ninja. Man, I don't know what's happening here. John,
I'm sorry, Grubb.
Jan, can you step in?
Gra Ninja, not Green Ninja. It's also a blue frog, Grubb. Please.
Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize. So yeah, they announced that they're going to have the Mega Dimension DLC, which is like, it sounds like they're just pre-announcing the way that they've been doing expansions for Pokemon for a while now, which was the replacement for, the tertiary version of Pokemon that they used to do. Now they do DLC. They're kind of just letting you know it's going to be there. There's probably going to be a higher price version that will just include this at launch, or include access to it once it launches.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think this game looks pretty good overall. I did not understand what this DLC was when I first saw it, but if it's just the first expansion, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, they positioned it like I thought they were going to reveal a third Pokemon game or just show off another tentpole, but instead it was like, yeah, we made Raichu X and Raichu Y, which is cool. Like, I don't know if you were paying much attention to original Pokemon, but like the Raichu Pokemon like look like Goruchu, which was like a fake or like leaked evolution of Raichu or something, which really threw me off. I thought we were going full like Digimon for a second, but yeah, I don't know how I feel about the DLC being announced before launch. Like, I feel like we did have to wait a little bit when like Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet, but I just don't remember. I feel like time is a flat circle at this point.
I vaguely remember them like saying there would be DLC, but maybe I'm wrong. Like before launch, but who knows? Either way, like for Pokemon, it feels like this is a well understood thing that this would be happening. So them announcing it before the game comes out is maybe a little bit less weird, just because it's like, well, we know they're going to do this, so we don't have to pretend they're not going to, just to feel better about the game at launch or something. All right, you know what? We got to take a break. There's a lot more from the Nintendo Direct. We'll get into that, including Virtual Boy, I guess. We'll talk about that.
Yeah. Oh my God.
After these messages from our new sponsor, Character Issues.
Hey.
Let's go to it right now. If you want to skip on this, you go to giantbomb.com/join and become a premium member. We'll be right back.
Coming to you live from Giant Bomb. It's the Character Issues Podcast.
The Character Issues Podcast is a podcast where we are making the definitive scientific list of the greatest video game characters of all time. Every episode, I am joined by hosts Leah Haydu.
It's me. Hi. Hello. Hi. Hello.
And Rich Davison.
Hello from across the pond.
As we discuss, rank, and basically give you the definitive guide of who are the greatest video game characters of all time. We currently have over 70 episodes out, and I know what you're thinking. I don't want to go back and listen to all of those episodes, so here's a few facts to catch you up on any in-joke lore so you can jump in right now.
We have an unhealthy relationship with the character Voldo from Soul Calibur.
Rich really hates the Scandinavians.
The most important spot is the number 69 spot.
Every 23 episodes, we have a re-rank-a-palooza.
The second number one important spot is, again, not the top spot, it's the bottom spot, which is perennially going to be Chadley from Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth.
I'm so funny. Like, seriously, you guys, you don't even know.
So, if after hearing all of those wonderful facts about our podcast, you're still interested, you can go to any of your podcast services and search for the Character Issues Podcast, and it will be there. You can also follow us on Blue Sky at the Character Issues Podcast, or send us an email at characterissuespodcast@gmail.com. Thank you, everybody, for listening, and thank you, Giant Bomb, for allowing us to advertise on your wonderful podcast about video games. We look forward to talking to all of you soon.
It's Game Mess Mornings. Jeff Grubb, Jon Martin. We are going to keep moving ahead here. Let's jump a little out of order. We're going to jump down to Virtual Boy Nintendo Classics. This was a wild thing to see. Just last night I was talking to Mike about it, and he's like, are we far enough removed from Virtual Boy? I'm like, they'll do Virtual Boy Nintendo Switch Online Classics someday. Yes. But here we are. That day is now. And it's way more unhinged than all that, Jon Martin. Let's just read this here. Select games from Nintendo's stereoscopic 3D system, Virtual Boy, are coming to Nintendo Classics exclusively for Nintendo Switch Online, plus expansion pack members. To play, in order to play, required for play, you'll need Joy-Con or Joy-Con 2 controllers and the dedicated accessory based on the original Virtual Boy hardware, stereoscopic 3D included. When inserting the Nintendo Switch 2 or Nintendo Switch system into that device, it will work with the stereoscopic 3D is what they're trying to say. Dive into titles like Mario's Tennis, Galactic Pinball, Telero Boxer, and more as they release over time. Virtual Boy Nintendo Classics comes to Nintendo Switch Online plus expansion pack February 17th of next year. The accessory needed to play Virtual Boy Nintendo Classics as well as a cardboard version, so they're going to have a cheaper cardboard alternative, will be available to pre-purchase on My Nintendo Store in the future. How much are those, you might be asking? Well, here, I got a super chat. Let me see if I can find it real quick, or did I lose it? Oh, there we go. From El Grug. $99.99 for the plastic Virtual Boy and $25 for the cardboard one. Listings are up, but you can't buy it yet. It is a plastic shell, and that's it. It doesn't seem to have any moving parts. Probably just has lenses on it, so they can blast 2 images for the stereoscopic 3D out of the screen, and the lenses will grab those images and then shoot them into your eyeballs with the stereoscopic 3D effect. And then if you don't want to do that, you can get the cardboard version for $25. This is unhinged behavior from Nintendo. This is so insane. What are they doing? I mean, I love it, but what are they doing?
I don't know. I thought we were done with Labo. That's the craziest part. Like, I was always feeling like Labo would be the way to bring back these games, but the fact that they actually did it is absurd. Like, I thought we were so far removed, we were never going to see them again. $100 for the replica. I don't know what did the original go for. Like, I don't even know.
I want to say the original was something like $190, $200 or something like that. They tried to have Game Boy pricing on it, which is why it only had red LEDs in it. Because that was, honestly, the reality of it, blue LEDs were only invented a few years before the Virtual Boy came out, like maybe 10-ish, or 10 to 15 years earlier, but they were still extremely expensive. So I get why this was the tech at the time. It's just amazing that Nintendo went through with it and was like, well, that doesn't matter. It'll just be black and red in there, and you'll have to stick your face into something and crane your neck down, and the controller will have 2 D-pads because we've lost our goddamn minds.
Because we're crazy.
And then we'll be so embarrassed about it, we won't mention it. I guess there's probably been a reference in Smash Brothers. I think there was one in Ultimate. That's how you know they are over something, is when they reference it in Smash Brothers. That's like the breaking the ice, and that always signified that we could end up here. I can't believe this, John.
Yeah, and it's just something you kind of slot your Switch 2 into. Yeah, I can't say I have a whole lot of Virtual Boy experience. The main way I've ever played those games is allegedly on my 3DS. I have an app that lets me play those games, and the red and black really hurts your eyes. Like, that's real. Like, that's an actual thing. I am wondering if. And they were so embarrassed about it for so long, too. Like, I wonder if they will let us change the colors, I guess. Like, just find something that's a little bit easier on the eyes. It's very weird to double down on them, considering this is the same company that said, hey, remember how we almost burned a hole in your hand when we put Mario Party 1 on N64? Let's do it again. Why not? No gloves attached. But, yeah, this is unhinged behavior. I am scared. And yet I will probably pick one up. Yeah, it's just so ridiculous.
Yeah, like everyone in chat, if pre-orders go up in the United States during the show, you need to spam and let me know, and I will buy this thing live. I will monetize myself in front of you all. I don't care. It was wild to see Koizumi stick his head up from behind a Virtual Boy on a Nintendo Direct in 2025. That is just even if they brought it back and did something with it, I never thought I would see them embrace the Virtual Boy. But I bet there's quite a few people that probably have a soft spot for it at this point, because they're like, we worked hard on that thing, we tried some shit, it didn't work, but whatever. We have the Switch and Switch 2 now. We're on top of the world. We can feel better about this. All it takes is 30 years.
Is
All right. Hades. Oh, no, let's actually bump back up. Let's go back in order. Sorry about that. Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. We mentioned that has a November 6th release date. It looks pretty good, actually, with that game franchise now running at 60 frames per second on the Switch 2. It's like I might dive back into this one and spend some time with it, although November will still be a time where I'm catching up on a ton of games, so we'll see.
yeah.
Super Mario Brothers Wonder, we talked about that one. We did not talk about Yoshi and the Mysterious Book
Yeah.
coming in spring. Very, very, very charming art style, as the Yoshi games are wont to do, but this might be their best one yet. A very watercolory kind of. I'm not good at
Yeah.
artistic mediums. It just looked very cute to me, and then it looked lackadaisical in terms of its gameplay, which is what we also expect from Yoshi games these days. But boy, it looks shit hot, so I probably will still try it out. What do you think?
It is so close to me, like my desire for Yoshi to evoke that first Yoshi's Island game, like Mario World 2 art style. That art style is still just so unbeatable, and I thought this was the closest it ever got to that. I am very excited. My partner loves Yoshi, so that is definitely going to be
Good.
a day one purchase, and it just seems very cute. For the format of the game, I couldn't tell if we were like kind of just helping people out, like, and there's just going to be chapters of like, oh, you got to help the stork or Raphael the Raven or whatever. Yeah, I think that's a really good spring game. That just like it's still going to be cold outside, huddling by the campfire and playing a game in which you're reading a book sounds very cozy.
Yep, the book itself his name is Mr. E.
Oh,
And
yeah.
he's got a big mustache.
Oh.
And that's good stuff.
Yeah.
You just got it.
Live on air. Yeah, it took me.
We got him, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, he's been
all
compromised
right.
to a permanent end.
Oh, I'm done. That's it.
Tomodachi Life,
incredible.
living the dream. They also
Let's
give us an
go.
update on that spring 2026 as well. As always, their Tomodachi Life trailers and teases are weird, and this one had a great segment where a lady was just sitting there while super scopes pelted her in the face. It was very funny. That's the kind of shit I like in Tomodachi Life, which is, I guess, for people that don't know, sort of a more quirky life sim where it's like about everyday tasks, but not like about like, oh, tending your garden. It's about, oh, you went dancing, then you sang a song, and then you got to read the news for the night as your character. But there's a bunch of characters and they're all interacting with one another. It's hard to explain. It's cool.
Yeah.
I like it. I'm excited about this. Glad we don't have to wait too long.
Yeah, I thought they were going to move it to 2025. The way they worded it is just like we had said,
Yes.
2026. But yeah, no, this is for a lot of people who did not play the original. This is one of the shining examples of unhinged Nintendo, like
Yes.
fever dream simulator. It is fantastic. If you are ever down, man, just like pop this in. It's probably the only chance they'll ever get to like hanging out with Miyamoto or whatever in his room. Yeah, if you just have a lot of music with your friends, stuff will go down. Very excited to pick this one up.
All right. Then there was Mario Tennis Fever, new Mario Tennis game. It's out February 12th of next year. Pre-orders are up today. It looks like it has an adventure mode that where you seemingly play as Baby Mario. Maybe you can play as a different character, right? But it seemed to suggest you were playing as Baby Mario. And it had like there were more mini games that you solved by playing tennis. It seemed like in this one, as opposed to like just standing on the tennis court and maybe doing mini games on there. It's like here, like there was like a chasm, a ravine, and you had to use your tennis racket to hit something on the other side of the river. And it's like, oh, that reminds me of Golf Story. Now, I don't expect it to be as in-depth of an RPG as Golf Story, which is not a very in-depth RPG. But I'm once again getting my hopes up for the adventure campaign side of one of these Mario sports games. That's like my own version of the clown makeup at this point, Jon Martin. I expect this to disappoint like all of them have recently.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to get even close to how good the Game Boy and GBA ones
I'm
are.
nowhere near that in terms of expectations. Yeah.
Yeah, I love Mario Tennis. It's probably my most played of the sports games. It is a little weird that they decided to go back to tennis before something like baseball, when baseball is so hot here and so hot there.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's like we could play Mario Tennis on the Switch too already. In fact, that was probably the best Mario sports game this last generation anyway. So
Yeah.
it makes sense they're coming back to it. It looks good. The rackets seem like interesting gimmicks. I'm hoping there's just like a straight
Fever
tennis
rackets.
mode.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Because we don't really have like a Virtua Tennis or like a strict like fun tennis arcadey simulator anymore. So Mario Tennis is fun.
yep. Yeah,
I'm
and people point out, like, yeah, you were definitely doing mini games in the last one, but those did all seem to kind of happen on the court for the most part, and the court would change and have like introduce like new obstacles. This one seemed to be maybe happening on the overworld map, but who knows? Maybe that's wrong. Either way, don't set your sights too high for a Mario Tennis Fever for the campaign. Get it for the multiplayer, which, as always, even in the recent ones that have been disappointing, that the mechanics are so solid and the multiplayer is really good.
Yeah.
So I would expect that to be true here as well. All right, Resident Evil Requiem was confirmed to be coming to Nintendo Switch 2. They showed off quite a bit. In fact, some stuff we had not seen before from this game showed up in the Direct. That will be launching on Switch 2 February 27th, and it looked really solid. They also said that 7 Biohazard and Village would also be coming with Gold Edition versions on the Switch 2 next year, on the same day that Requiem launches. So a lot of Resident Evil. They're doing the whole trilogy. I guess that means they can like do 2, 3, and 4 as another trilogy like late next year or something like that. That's fine. But yeah, the game looked completely like not just playable, but it looked acceptable, like really good, especially in motion, where it's like, I'm having a hard time telling the difference here. I'm sure I will, but maybe not on the mobile screen. What do you think about Resident Evil coming to Switch 2?
I thought it was pretty crazy. It is going to be day and date with the other consoles, right? Like that is the just launch day.
February 27th is the launch day. Yes.
Yeah. I've played a lot of RE Engine games on the Switch 2. Street Fighter is probably my most played like Switch 2 original game because that version is just really hot. It is just fun to just mess around with that. And yeah, so to see the RE Engine be able to look as good as it does with a modern console game, really, really gives me hope for future RE Engine games, previous RE Engine games, stuff that maybe we didn't think would be able to run on there. It seems like they kind of just said, no, we're up, we're here, and we're here to stay. Capcom definitely killing it with just putting game upon game on the Switch 2.
Yep, I think that's right. That this game is another signifier early on for the Switch 2's life. That like, look, we're not just talking about year one. We're still talking about we're like in the launch window in a lot of ways. Give us some indicators that this system is going to, at least for a few years, be able to keep up with the newest games from some of the biggest publishers. Requiem will be proof of that. If this game it runs in an acceptable way on the Switch 2, that would be like another sign to other publishers to hop on board and to people to feel comfortable about buying these kinds of games on this system. I don't know if I'm going to be playing it on the Switch 2. There are definitely people who will be more likely to play Requiem if they can just get it on the system they use the most frequently, which probably for them in a lot of cases is the Switch or the Switch 2. So yeah, I think this will be great to see. You know, add that to Outlaws, add that to Cyberpunk 2077, and you start to build a story of like, okay, it's not just like games that came out in last year, like 3, 4, 5 years ago. It's also even Requiem day and date running just as well. Yeah. I'm hopeful, but we'll see.
Yeah.
All right, we got a bunch more to get through, so we're going to pick up the pace a little bit. Hades 2 Nintendo Switch 2 edition. That is going to be coming, let's see here, September 25th. That's the 1.0 release. We are talking about 13 days, right? So finish up Silk Song, everybody. It's there's a great bit from a Riff Trash I like where it's a mom like feeding her son breakfast, and she goes, "Okay, son, hurry up, finish your lunch. Or finish your breakfast. It's time for lunch." And it's like that's how I feel. Where we're finishing Silk Song just so I can immediately go into Hades 2. It's relentless.
It's a roller coaster. Like I really did think. I think you had said a couple times like December would be the perfect time to release this.
Christmas Day,
is kind of insane.
Yeah,
that would have been nice. Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a fantastic game. I beat it technically twice, but without credits, so I haven't played it since like a couple weeks after launch. Really good game. I don't think I'll be even close to finishing Silk Song by then. It's kind of crazy. It's less than 2 weeks. Yeah, it's going to be great, but like, man, the spacing could be a bit better. It is good that it is running 120 frames in TV mode. That's really encouraging to see. So I I don't even think Silksong runs at 120 on TV mode. I know it does handheld.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. Yeah, great game. September is too busy, man. I can't. Like the crawl to the end of the year is too much.
They showed us Suika Game Planet, which is like the Tetrasphere of Suika games. That is coming soon this winter, it says.
Yeah.
Monster Hunter Stories 3, they showed off more of that March 13th. Storm Lancers, a 2D side-scrolling roguelike. That's coming later today. That was your shadow drop or one of your shadow drops. Fatal Frame 2, Crimson Butterfly Remake.
Super sick.
Yes, that looks pretty neat. That's coming early 2026. Are you a Fatal Frame fan?
Yeah, I love it. Was on a kick like after I played like the Wii U one and binged through all of them pretty quickly. There's a couple that are Japanese only, I believe, but still was able to get through that without much issue. Really good stuff.
Power. Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm done. Sorry.
Okay, no worries.
Just anecdote.
Power Wash Simulator 2 is coming to Nintendo Switch 2 this fall. That looked really good. We'll support all the co-op features that game has with 38 jobs. Stardew Valley, a Nintendo Switch 2 edition. So this will have stuff like game share. It'll have 4-player split screen co-op. I think I guess game share is the way that you play online. I wish, it supports for an 8-player online mode. That would be a fun game to have the camera thing in. Let me have my little face hover on the world while we're like communicating. That would feel like even cozier and warmer to me somehow. I would like that, but it doesn't seem to be supporting it. Overcooked 2 is getting that update and will get the camera feature for Nintendo Switch 2. I love that.
Yeah, you constantly know who's actually scring up the entire kitchen.
Exactly.
That is,
you can look them in the eyes.
Yeah, look them in the eyes, actually know who to yell at as opposed to, okay, whoever. Like, I think that's really fun.
Get your shit together, chef.
Yeah, right? Yeah, yes, chef. I'm fucking up, chef. I don't know.
All right, let's see here. Dragon Quest VII Reimagined. February 5th. Yes, pre-orders. If you pre-order, you can receive a costume for the hero along with helpful items on your journey. Blah blah blah. It looked wild. It's a good looking remake, reimagining, I guess. I like the art style quite a bit. And then they talked about there will be some enhanced pacing, I think is the word they used. Yes. That is code word for this game was 100 hours, like inexcusably 100 hours originally, and probably won't be anymore, which is definitely the right move. If you're going to do all this work, make it a better game at the same time.
That's huge, especially for a JRPG as long as that, and for a JRPG that you don't even get to fight in for like the first 5 hours or whatever.
Exactly. Dynasty Warrior Origins, that's coming to Switch 2 on January 22nd. Yep. Danganronpa 2x2, which is a version of Danganronpa 2, will be coming to Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2 in 2026. Popucom, this is a Splatoon-like match 3 shooting game where you can switch colors, and I don't know. It looked like a lot of fun. I know people have been playing this game on PC for a little bit and are into it. They've been doing it over a remap, and every time I check it out, it looks pretty cool. Look, I said what I said, everybody. Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, looking very good. January 22nd on Nintendo Switch 2. Pre-orders are available later today. Man, that game looks really good on Switch 2.
Yeah, I am probably going to be replaying that game. That is one of my favorite Final Fantasy games, and I think they announced if you pre-order it, you get a copy of the original Final Fantasy VII, which is pretty sweet. But looks like a very good port.
All right, now I'm just going to be picking out the rest that I think are worth calling out. Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection. That's December 12th on October 30th on Nintendo Switch 2 and Nintendo Switch. The physical version is coming to Nintendo Switch December 12th. Let's see here. Dinkum was another sort of survival game. It had a really good look to it. It has a 4-player co-op. It's coming November 5th. Human Fall Flat DLC. EA Sports FC actually looked good. That's a franchise, the series that had the weird, we're just going to use the old engine ports on the Switch 1 for years and years and just do roster updates. Well, now they're promising to kind of catch the game up on Switch with the other platforms. So I'll be interested to see the reception for this one. Little Nightmares 3, Lego Voyagers, which is out this week, or I guess this weekend, Monday, it looks like, September 15th. Yeah, that's 3 days from now. Disguise 7, and then 2 Point Museum. So overall, what would your grade be for the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct that we got today?
Yeah, I think I'd probably hover around to like a B minus. I think there was a lot of great games, definitely a wide spread of genres and franchises that I care about. Getting those concrete dates for Prime 4 and Zelda, I think that's pretty huge. Yeah, and on the whole, there's definitely a lot more games on my radar than I thought. What about you?
Yeah, I like before we got this Direct, what I was saying is, give me the Metroid Prime 4 release date, give me some goodies for the Mario 40th anniversary, and give me a big 2026 game. And we got Fire Emblem, and we got the Metroid Prime 4 stuff, and we got a decent amount of stuff for the Mario 40th anniversary that I'm certainly not mad about. Wonder and Galaxy stuff goes a long way for me. So it's like they did everything that I was asking for. So I kind of feel like it'd be unfair for me to do anything below an A minus. So that's where I'm at. I'm like at an A minus. Although I guess you could be said it's like, well, they just met expectations if those were your expectations, and maybe that should be closer to a B. I could hear that, but there were a lot of games in this Direct that I'm excited about that are for me. And then the Virtual Boy thing was weird enough to sort of put it over the top and probably climb it back up to an A minus. So yeah, it worked for me. All right. Last couple of stories here. Outside of the Direct we got in the United States, Mega Man Star Force Legacy Collection was announced for Nintendo Switch in the Japan Direct. It's available in 2026. They're doing that before they're doing the Mega Man Legends Collection. Mike was salty about that, but hey, here we are.
Yeah, they're doing everything they can to just not poke that bear. They are doing stuff with Legends. There's like a new comic coming out for Mega Man Legends, so maybe there's hope. Maybe they could put that 3DS demo that like was in the works at the time there. But yeah, they do not seem to want to touch Legends with a 10-foot pole. This is cool. I love the Battle Network games. Never really touched a Star Force game, so that'll be pretty interesting for me. And yeah, I'll take whatever Mega Man I can get. I was streaming Mega Man 1 and 2 the other day, and I said I would take any Legacy collection. It's just good to see Mega Man still on Capcom's mind.
Yep. Yes, definitely. They've had a lot of success with these collections, so not surprised to find them doing more in whatever way they can figure it out. Also, Jan, very excited about this news. This ESRB description sure is a wild ride. Let's just like get into it. Let's see. Here's the ESRB rating description. This is an adventure game in which players assume the role of a man transported to a mystical realm full of quirky and bizarre characters. And then the description here from the story says, all right, so far, from a third-person perspective, players hike through different environments and interact with fantastical characters. And I'm going to let people try to guess what the game is. Yep, no problem. Some of these characters are depicted as human/donkey hybrids with exposed male genitalia. Yeah, there you go. Yes, this is for baby steps. So let's get in there and see what them donkeys do. I don't know. I'm excited about that game before you even say you can stop selling me on it. Come on, I'm already buying it. This game is ass, says Black Mamba. That's clever. Okay, that does it for the headlines. That was a lot. Let's get to the poll question from yesterday, and then we'll get to the Bomb 12 to finish up the week. This one is from yesterday. We've got about 3,000 votes in here for, are you more likely to play the next Far Cry if it has an emphasis on multiplayer? 6% said yes. 94% said no. But that's the prime directive, apparently, out of Ubisoft, is to emphasize the multiplayer for Far Cry. I guess it's worth acknowledging that maybe they are going for an audience that is not us and not the people listening to this podcast. How do you feel about it, John?
Yeah, so I'm part of the 94% that said no. I'm like not really looking forward to just like a strictly multiplayer Far Cry game. I feel like it's when it is at its best. And I say it's at its best, but I feel like it's kind of been on a downslope since like 3 for me personally. Like I don't think I've played one in like over a decade at this point. But yeah, Ubisoft still doesn't really seem to know what they really want to do. It's like they want to commit to single player games, but also want to commit to just too many competing live service games. Like there's like 1,000 Division games coming out. There's 1,000 other things. Yeah, I don't know. I love multiplayer games. I love co-op games. I like games I can play through together. That's a big appeal of those Far Cry games for me on the PS3 and 360. But reading into it, that doesn't seem to be what I'm looking for personally.
Yep, I'm with you on that. That does it for the poll. We'll get a new poll question on Monday here on Game This Mornings on Giant Bomb. Speaking of Giant Bomb, we are going to have UPF here in a little bit. We're going to play Borderlands 4, although we might dabble in some other stuff, especially if that game breaks and has any issues with it. Seems pretty likely, considering that launch has been troublesome for that studio so far. But we'll see. If we can get in there, we'll play some. Dan says he's enjoying it, like more so than he was expecting to. So, yeah, cool. I'm like ready to be won over by it. But, Silksong is going to take priority. With that said, John, why don't you tell people where they can find you on the internet, what you have going on, all that good stuff.
Sure. Yeah. So I just recently moved. And I finally set up my streaming setup this past week. I am streaming kind of sporadically. You can follow me at Jon Martin on Blue Sky. My YouTube channel is jman065. Also Jon Martin. Playing a lot of different games. The other night I was just playing retro stuff like Mega Man 1 and 2, playing some Castlevania 3. In the future, I'm going to be playing Final Fantasy 14, which I've never touched, so that should be fun. I hope to be sticking around here and just all over the internet, just hanging out. It is a good time.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Let's wrap up the week, everybody. It's time for the Bomb 12. These are the 12 games that really matter to people who are really playing games. We ask you guys each week, hey, tell us, what's your game this week? What are you into? And we get responses all throughout all 7 days. And this week, unsurprisingly, the number one game we'll get to here in a second, but let's move our way up, starting with number 12, Hell Is Us. Number 11 is Chronos, The New Dawn. Number 10, Death Stranding 2 on the Beach. Number 9, No Man's Sky, that DLC, that new expansion, really working for that game still. Number 8, Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, kind of a little bit of a fall for that game, but a lot to play. Silksong seems to be eating into a lot of people's lunch. Claire Obscure Expedition 33, still holding on strong at number 7. Number 6, Hollow Knight 1, the first one, still number 6 on this chart. Number 5 is Donkey Kong Bonanza. That bounced back after going down to like number 8 last week. I wonder if the DLC is going to be able to pop it back up. We'll see. I'm skeptical about how much that's going to win people over. Number 4, Star Wars Outlaws. That is entirely up to the Switch 2 version, which I did spend a lot of time with that game last week. Honestly, that I don't usually submit something, but every once in a while I will. I don't think I'd actually submitted Outlaws myself, but I might have because it was the game I played the most this week before I got into Silksong. That's got to be good news for Ubisoft to be like, we put out a good version of a game on Switch 2 and we're getting rewarded for it. That's another one of those signifiers of like, people should be doing a lot more of that. Let's see. Now, number 3, you guys did it. Are you proud of yourselves? Uma Musume, Pretty Derby. The horse girls are back in the top 3. That means they get one of them pictures for one of the girls that's a horse but isn't. You did it, everybody. Number 2, Borderlands 4. Already, it's in its debut week, already up to number 2. As I always point out, it's hard for a game to get this high on the list in the first week because people are just starting to play it, and they might have already submitted a game for this week earlier. So here we are, Borderlands 4 at number 2, and that, of course, means number 1 is Hollow Knight Silksong. Now, John, it's not just number 1. It is number 1 by an insane margin. The number of replies for Hollow Knight Silksong, it was like 1 in every 4-ish, like 25%, like 20 to 25% of respondents said Hollow Knight Silksong. And there's hundreds of people responding here. So it is, this is the game of the moment for sure.
Yeah, I would not be shocked if it's the game of the next 3 Bomb 12s. Like, that game is
easily
so big. I'm just very happy to see Metroidvanias kind of getting their due. One of my favorite genres. And yeah, that game is massive. A lot of charm, a lot of love. I mean, that's the main game I've been playing too.
Yep, same here. At this point, for sure. All right. Well, hey, we're going to have a new Bomb 12 next Friday to end next week. So between now and then, go to giantbomb.com. You should be able to find a blog post for the Bomb 12, for this Bomb 12. That will contain a link to the forum where you go in there, you click on that, you tell us what game you've been playing. I'll also post this to like Blue Sky and stuff, so you can follow us there and check that out. You know what? Maybe I could post a link just directly onto the YouTube post as well, and see if that's a way of doing it as well. I think you can post links there. And if you can just come in, make your voice heard, we'll collate all of the data for next week's Bomb 12, and we'll see if anything can knock off Hollow Knight Silk Song, I'm with you, John. Next 3 Bomb 12s, I think guaranteed are Silk Song. Let's see what game actually is able to knock it off its throne. All right, and that's going to do it. We're going to get out of here. Jon Martin, thank you so much for hanging out with me today and talking about video games, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Jeff. This is like the highlight. This is so good. I love you. I love everyone in the Giant. Yeah.
We love you too, and it's always great to have someone on that's just that gets it. Yes, we can all just say ooh woo, ooh. I think it's what we say. Thank you all for watching. You like this, Jan? If I go ooh woo, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. You're the best audience in gaming. Until next time, have a good one. Take care of yourself, and goodbye.